Okay, infomercials were once relegated to late night, where time slots, where few eyeballs produced lackluster sales, and the people that watched them were like the crazy people. But something changed in our perception of these products and how they're sold, causing the Snuggie and the Chia Pet. You got a Chia Pet?
I got a Snuggie.
Do you know they make an Obama Chia Pet?
I have seen that, yes. I am a Chia Pet. Thank you.
To become commonplace in American households.
All right, for the next hour, we'll be talking about the infomercial industry and how it grew into the marketing juggernaut it is today. Here to tell us why infomercials are so effective is Kevin Daum. He is the author of Roar, Get Heard in the Sales and Marketing Jungle. And Kevin, thank you so much for delivering personalized copies of your book to Tracy and I. All right, Tracy talked about it in the opening there. It's changed. Infomercials are not the same as they were 5 years ago. How have they changed?
Well, they've got more time on their hands now, because now you have infomercials instead of just that 1 or 2 minutes that they've got, you know, where they're teaching you things like Tarnex. That was my favorite, right, where you dip the silver in the thing.
Yep.
Now they got a whole half an hour. And when you're doing a 1-minute commercial, it's easy to be compelling in that initial ting. You know, what commercials are really good at with infomercials is getting to the pain right away. One of the things I talk about is companies don't talk enough about empathy today. They just want to sit there and show up and throw up and tell you what they do without connecting to the customer. But the infomercial has always gone for that, right? You remember images of saying, gee, how hard is it to do this? You know, you have a knife that you're trying to use and you just can't seem to make it sharp, so they go after the Ginsu knife.
Yep.
It's always about connecting you with that pain so that you're attracted and emotionally attached right at the beginning.
Is that why we watch them, though? Because there are nights where I'm going to say it, I'm a total loser. I'm glued. I'll just watch them for hours.
Well, sure, because they hit that pain with you at an emotional level, at a visual level, and you go, oh my God, that's me.
Because I want to cut my tomatoes like that.
That's right, exactly. And that's the thing and that's the next thing they do. As soon as they got you wrapped up in that pain, they go, here's the solution, and you go, oh my God, get me one of those, right? And so then you're clicked in. Now, you know, what we talked about is today when they're doing half-hour or 1-hour infomercials, once they're there, they've got to keep doing that over and over because they don't know if you're going to tune in at the beginning. Sometimes they've got to use celebrities to bring you involved, or they have to bring that entertainment. They have to do what's called the awesome experience. It's got to be the need, the entertainment, and then the unexpected. They have to keep doing things that are going to make you go, oh my God, that's cool, so that you come back and you watch again.
The other thing, and when I was working in sports television, Sportsnet New York, all day long we would have infomercials, then we would start our live programming at night. Well, if some news broke, I would have to come in and I would have to break in to the infomercial, and I would apologize to people. I would say, look, I'm sorry for interrupting your sleep rest infomercial, but I've got to tell you that so-and-so has been fired. And the reason why I did that is because if you're watching that infomercial, you're really interested in it. Well, you wouldn't be watching it if you weren't. So that's targeting. So the marketer knows that they're targeting an audience that's very interested in what they're selling, right?
Well, and they're taking them down a journey because you have different kinds of buyers that are out there. I mean, there's actually 4 different kinds of buyers. You've got wise buyers that want all the information. You've got cynical buyers that go, I don't know if I want to buy something off TV. Yeah. You got simple buyers that go, good, I'm there. And then you've got the disinterested buyers that didn't even know. They're flipping through and they want to be attached. But you know, the thing about infomercials, they're incredibly impactful. They're crafted even better than some TV programming. That's why, you know, people like Ron Popeil are like the most famous celebrities on the planet. You know, we know these phrases, set it and forget it, you know, and even parodies. You know, I think back to Dan Aykroyd's Bassomatic, which is one of my favorite parodies of infomercials. It's one of those things that's part of our culture.
Well, and Tony Little on the Gazelle. I mean, come on.
It's technique.
Absolutely. Right. Or my favorite, you know, going back a few years was new shimmers of floor wax and a dessert topping, right?
How do you know, I have a product. How do I know that an infomercial is the right way for me to sell it?
Well, that depends on the infomercial people. Those guys are really great at understanding what's a good product and what's a good business model. You know, when you look at the king and queens of QVC, those people actually understand what's going to sell. They have to, because they invest millions of dollars in making sure that that product is going to be produced and aired out there, and it's a big gamble for them. So they do their test marketing, they know their craft, and they figure, you know, and they have to price it right, and that's the key too. One of the big things too is they're very, very good at setting up urgency. And urgency is a big marketing piece. You have to create, you know, if you know that commercial is going to be there a lot, urgency has to get you to want to buy now and get on the phone. So that's why the infomercials always say, hey, there's only so many of these left, or, you know, we're only going to offer you this one-time offer. It's all about getting you to take action right then and right there.
When Vince says, for the next 20 minutes, because we can't do this all day, he actually makes fun of himself in the Slap Shop one, because he says we can't do this all day, because he remembers what they did with the what was it, the ShamWow. What about the product, though? It still comes down to the product, right? I mean, if you don't have a quality product, regardless of how good your pitch is or how good your pitch person is, it's not going to sell, right?
Look, I say that about any marketing. Any marketing technique only will go so far. You have to have a good product. You have to have a good business model. But what really makes the product in most cases in infomercials is the story. That's what they're looking. They're looking to create a story that you're going to relate to, that you're going to feel good about. They want you to go home. Again, it's still infotainment, right? And that's the whole aspect of that TV. How are you going to create that? And even as you see that go over to the web, right? One of the best web infomercials, right, is Will It Blend? And they're telling a story of, you know, will this stuff blend? They actually blended up an iPad in their last one. People go to that because they get the whole story behind it, this whole concept, and they want to attach themselves to it.
So what does it do to a product once you get yourself an infomercial? I mean, the sales go through the roof.
They absolutely can. I mean, you can see sales go into the tens of thousands, into the hundreds of thousands, and into the millions, which is why, you know, the companies that produce infomercials on a regular basis are highly selective about what they do. I have a good friend with a company, Lucky Napkin, where they're very particular about what they will pick, and then they have to groom that company to be ready for those large sales. Not every company that has a product is ready to take the kind of volume sale that can happen from an infomercial.
It's like going on Oprah.
Well, I was actually just thinking, Lucky Napkin, our own Charles Payne uses a Lucky Napkin to write his stock picks on every day. That's very interesting. The book is Roar, Get Heard in the Sales and Marketing Jungle. Just for if you're planning on trying to put together a product on an infomercial or anything, or can you read this?
You know, the great part about this, everybody has to sell something to someone sometime, and we all, you know, kind of cringe at trying to figure out what to say, how to say it, and who to say it to. Roar does that. It tells, there's even a personal success. Here's my own urgency, right? We put a personal success chapter in there in a webinar coupon only in the first print run. So there's only a few thousand left on the shelves.
Urgency.
And that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
I should
Kevin,
read it.
great
Maybe
stuff.
I could sell dinner to my kids.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin Daum, author of Roar, Get Heard, the Sales and Marketing Jungle.